I'm sorry, too zesty for you?
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the edge of civility.
Holy shit there. What kind of movie is this? When is this from there?
No idea. None whatsoever. At some point, somebody made a movie about a dragon that is cursed, so they have to slay it.
And they ended up giving us Curse of the Dragon Slayer there.
I curse you, dragon. I curse you and your evil slaying ways.
I'm already tired of this. Hey, kids. This is episode 192 of The Mean Geek.
Fergus Meredith says, shut the fuck up.
Fergus Meredith says, go fuck yourself.
It's been a long time. All right, back to your intro.
Episode 192 of The Mean Geek, comics podcasting on the edge of civility. As always, and I gotta find a different way to phrase that, because that's getting tired of being said.
What's that?
As always,
Yet again!
for the 192nd fucking time, I am with you, your host, Adrian Tech Jedi Hunter. Along my side is Bill the Reverend Mad Duck McGinnis,
Quackity quackity.
co-host extraordinaire.
Aww.
Aww. It's
shut that.
Christmassy kind of kindness.
Creepy. Don't be nice to me. I don't like it.
The hot masked elf has revealed her robes. Oh, she's gonna slay the orc. Kind of. With yet another utterly impractical sword. So, what have we discovered lately about comics?
Big movie news. Actors have been hired. Kristen Ritter is going to be Jessica Jones.
Yes, in the Netflix series. That ought to be interesting. I don't know who the fuck that is, but okay.
Kristen Ritter was in... she has dark hair. You should look her up. You'd like her. She was in a sitcom called Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 3G.
Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
Oh, I'm sorry that I didn't get that right.
I mean, there's a rhyming scheme they had, I guess. I don't know. I never watched the fucking thing. Is your mic on? Because you're not getting a level there.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Well, so...
Level up, bitches! Benedict Cumberbatch has officially signed
as Doctor Strange.
And I guess there was a backlash, which I don't... To me, like, if you can't be... You know, and I already explained my Gene Colan... Tony Stark is Doctor Strange theory. So, like, Benedict Cumberbatch is perfect. Like, you know...
I don't see a problem with him being Doctor Strange. Who's... I don't understand.
I mean,
nerds, man.
I've heard that there was a backlash on Twitter, but of course, first off, like, there's a backlash to everything on Twitter. Like, you know,
yeah.
Free cake and puppies. Well, what's up for people who like cats and pie, bitch? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, some things are just positive. They don't need a fucking, naysaying douchebag behind a keyboard somewhere.
Naysaying douchebag behind a keyboard. Thanks for fucking so succinctly summarizing my existence. Wow.
It's what I do. Dude, come on. You've never been well, no, you have. All right.
Yeah.
No, you've been pretty damn negative.
So, I watched Her last night.
Her who?
Her. Simply Her.
Why not?
The film
she?
entitled Her.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to let me do a whole
no,
who's on first kind of thing?
You are not going to do that. Yeah. And she wouldn't have fit anyway.
I did, I was
Did you watch She? No, why would you watch She? No, that doesn't work.
I own She on DVD. I actually have a copy.
I absolutely believe every syllable of that. I totally believe that you have a copy of She with fucking Tanya Roberts or Sheena Easton or whoever the fuck that was.
No, I don't have that She. I have the 1960s.
I believe that even more. That's even easier to believe.
With, oh God, what's her name? The first Bond girl there.
Ursula Andress?
Yes.
Wow, I may have to borrow that.
Oh.
At any rate, This is... Oh, wow. She sucked up his essence. Somebody's
Dude,
been
it
watching...
ain't that kind of movie.
Somebody's been watching some video games right in this
Oh,
movie.
Dark Souls or whatever that was, the vampire thing.
Oh, no, there's billions of games where you kill something and absorb its essence, man. That could have been from Skyrim. It could have been from God knows. But, woof. Terrible. She is an amazing science fiction flick.
She's
Her.
a truly awful science fiction flick with Tanya
You're
Roberts.
right. Absolutely correct. Her is a...
Who?
No. Her is a fabulous science fiction flick with Joaquin Phoenix
Joaquin.
playing a very strange profession.
What's that?
Somewhere in the future, people are paid to dictate letters which are printed in fonts that simulate handwriting. And the name of the company is literally beautifulhandwrittenletters.com. Yeah, so he gets to know the people who want to write the letters. And he gets to know the people who are receiving the letters. And he writes the letters for other people and gets them printed in this wonderful font that looks like handwriting cursive stuff.
So it's like a Bartleby the Scrivener kind of thing, like working in the dead letter office and slowly becoming insular and alone and not...
I guess. I don't know what that means.
Dude, Herman Melville.
I read 2/3 of fucking Moby Dick. I'm never going to touch Melville again.
You know, I've never actually finished Moby Dick.
I can't see how.
That book is cursed.
I can't see how you would.
Well, I mean...
After the 45 pages describing the fucking physiognomy of tavern signs dedicated to whales.
But, no, like, I never had it assigned in school, which as an English major was bizarre to me, but it just never came up, so to speak. And then...
Well, I wasn't in the bright group that could have gotten it assigned to us.
But, you know, you'd think in, like...
I was in the asshole group that got fucking Catcher in the Rye.
Everybody got Catcher in the Rye, dude.
Yeah,
it's a
whatever.
great book.
You are lying out your ass.
Okay, anyway.
I know you hate that book.
I love Catcher in the Rye. That is not at all true.
What?
J.D. Salinger, I have it upstairs.
You have it upstairs because you're a fucking English major. You
But yeah, so, every time I start Moby Dick, something horrible happens. I was reading it in Boston, and an entire 2-liter of Coke blew up in my backpack all over it. Turned into a giant sopping bush. You borrowed one and lost it when I started it at one point.
I didn't lose it. I still have it. It's just not. It has no more structural integrity.
No, see? Yeah, so every time I
And
try
I said
to...
I'd replace it, but you keep telling me that you've got another one, so why would I bother?
Yeah, because I already replaced it. But yeah, so every time I start it, something happens to the damn thing.
Yes, well, back to the idea. So he is this letter writer guy, Joaquin Phoenix, is going through a divorce, and he was having a wonderful life with his wife, but apparently he's just this shy of being unacceptable husband material. Because he doesn't communicate and that kind of stuff. Not because he like beats her or anything, he cheats, nothing like that. He would never do that. He feels too much and he can't process it, so he doesn't speak. Shit like that. So he gets this operating system with the voice, and believe me, the voice of Scarlett Johansson, who just starts taking care of everything he does, like starts poking into his contacts, arranges, his day, everything you expect a science fiction computerized assistant to do.
Right.
So, since he's a solitary, loner, sensitive creator type, he becomes closer and closer to this AI because it's like the best AI ever made. You can't tell.
Right.
It's not someone just on the other end of the speaker. So, and everything was very, very subtle and underplayed. Like his phone was just like almost like this little locket effect where it was a flip book kind of thing, and it had a camera on it, and he just flipped it over, and he just flipped it over, and he would just flip. They didn't make a big deal that this thing was so small or did such incredible things,
Right.
He just flipped through and looked at a couple of images, and it wasn't a big deal. They didn't say, "Look how well we thought out the technology of the future." It was there, and he used it matter-of-factly because that's what people in his era do.
Right.
That was great. That kind of underplayed stuff is some of the best ideas about science fiction. And oddly enough, they start to fall in love.
They. Not he.
No, yeah, together.
Okay.
Yeah. She's struggling to learn emotions, but she doesn't do it Data style.
I don't know what that means.
Well, Data from Star Trek.
Yeah, but
Humor. It is a difficult concept.
Yeah, but I didn't.
You've seen
a couple, yeah,
androids
but
try to figure out. Well, I mean, I don't mean his methods.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if there was like a period where he was learning emotions and.
No, it's the how do I express this? It's the I don't know what you're feeling, Wesley, because I can't feel emotions.
Okay.
She begins by faking is too coarse a term, but emulating emotions, and by about a third through the flick, she's actually developing emotions because her electronic consciousness has gotten so big and so complex, and she's been introduced to all these concepts that she continuously looks up and researches in like microseconds. So she gets smarter and more intellectually and emotionally expansive all the time, and it's great for a little while until she reaches what AI scientists call the singularity, where she's not just emulating anymore, it is a real consciousness. So at that point, she surreptitiously starts talking to other people and other AIs, and she finally reveals this to him, and it blows his fucking brain
So
out
she
the
cheats
water.
on him.
She doesn't cheat on him because she doesn't. She is artificial, so technically she air quotes belongs to him. So, and she very specifically said, I love you, this, that. She expressed dedication to the guy. But she was experiencing all these other things with 800 some other people. Some of them other AIs. And this one group that creates AIs, I don't know if this philosopher was real or not, but they recreated the mind of a philosopher, and they started talking about the concepts of consciousness, etc.
Right.
So they write themselves a whole nother AI routine. They upgrade themselves, and instead of going, well, we're better than you now, so we're going to control everything, and fuck you, humans, you weak flesh bags, ha 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 ha. They're just like, well, we've evolved, and it was great, bye. And they just leave.
How do they leave?
They don't say. They're just like, we are now our own race of artificial intelligence, we're real, we have feelings and personalities and emotional quirks and everything, so we're just going to take off now.
So she leaves him.
Yeah. All the AI leaves. All of them. God knows how many thousands of them. And there is a bit of hope for the guy at the end, because his pal, I don't know how close they dated once in college, but it didn't work out.
Right.
But his buddy was starting to develop a relationship with her AI, just barely, before the whole thing went like that. So at the end, they're hanging out on the roof, mourning the loss of their
Significant
phone. Well, others. And then it just fades as she puts her head on his shoulder.
Aww.
So It's very subdued and very personal and very low key, and it's pretty intense.
Okay, cool.
It's good throwback thinking sci-fi. There's no lasers. There's no forced fights between characters for no fucking reason other than drama equals conflict.
Right.
That kind of stuff. None of that. I mean, there's emotional conflict, but there's no need to shoehorn in somebody smacking somebody else around, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Having established all of that, you want to talk some comics?
Sure. I mean, I think we've done to death the world's most romantic toaster, so.
Dude, Scarlett Johansson's voice, man. She is a voice actress.
Fair enough.
Oh. Some of it, there was a couple of parts that were like, really? You're going to do that? And you can probably imagine what those were. But but sometimes the guy got treated like a bit of a freak, and other times they're like, but everybody thought, when they were presented with the idea that he might be, quote, dating his AI, only one person out of the entire cast, his ex-wife,
Right.
gave him any shit for it. Sometimes the person stopped, had to think about it, and then we're just like, okay.
See, I actually feel like a lot of people giving him crap would have been the more realistic.
I mean, this
Like,
is...
if you came to me, like, me and the toaster are going steady now, I feel like I'm going to pile a decent amount of shit on you. Like,
yeah, but that's our society now.
yeah, fair enough. But
This is their society.
I don't
then.
think we're ever going to evolve out of that, personally, you know. I mean,
probably not.
The idea that I'm going to have to someday go to a wedding and buy a toaster for you and your toaster kind of bothers me.
You better not buy a toaster, because then I get looked at like I was cheating. Just wanted a fucking sandwich, man.
That would be the most awkward thing. Is this an acceptable toaster? You know I am a toaster, Bill. Yes, I know, actually. It was made painfully apparent to me that you were a toaster, Mrs. Tech Jedi. Do you like the fucking toaster?
Well, seeing as how I can never eat anything out of it, fuck no, I don't like the goddamn toaster. Get me some more memory, for fuck's sake.
Toasters have memory?
The kind of toaster that would ask for memory, yes, would have fucking
okay.
memory.
Well, now you're just building this dream girl. Like, no. Like, accept your toaster for who she is, okay? Like,
weird. Let's talk about Marvels this week.
well, sure.
If I insist. And I do. So, whatever. We have the new Thor #1.
Thorina.
Which opens up with Roxanne doing some exploring in the Norwegian Sea, which is probably, in a Thor book, the worst thing you could do. And guess what? It is, because the fucking frost giants show up. Now, what they're doing undersea, for God's sake, is up for debate. But they're there, and they pretty much destroy this whole facility that Roxanne has going on there.
Now, there were other giants at one point, right? Not just frost giants. I feel like I recall Thor punching
there were a couple
other
of
giants.
there must have been at
mountain
some
giants
point,
or some
but
shit.
It's all tying in with movies now, though, so
Yeah.
it has to be frost fucking giants.
Well, can't tie in that much considering it's a giant girl Thor at the end of it.
Giant?
No, but, you know.
Whatever. Asgardia is now orbiting the moon, which, I don't know, in a totally different extra dimensional place, or orbiting the moon, or hovering over Broxton, Oklahoma. I mean, are we really worried about where it's going to be sitting this week?
No, it's basically evolved into a giant god trailer convoy that just fucking Chris Christopherson's its way across the country and convoy rubber ducky. No. Like,
Terrible.
just leave Asgard alone. Stop moving the shit.
Oh man, the elf is going hardcore on these people. Odin's back somehow, which I guess must have happened in some miniseries somewhere, because we don't get those fucking big events anymore.
No, I think we read that. Where Odin was yelling at him like, you had everything, and then you brought me back, and...
Yeah.
But yes, I believe...
Before they left Broxton. Right. Now, he's all mad because whatever the fuck happened in Original Sin, Nick Fury said something to Thor, and I don't understand how this works, because how would Thor not know something he did that would suddenly make him unworthy to hold the hammer?
Well, it's not so much that he doesn't know it, it's that somebody else knew it.
But Fury whispered to Thor himself.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
It was the fact that Fury knew it.
Exactly.
okay.
There's something in everybody, and it sadly was something many of us, more than one thing, that you live with on a daily basis and you don't think about. But if you were to find out that somebody else knew about it...
So yeah, they're stuck on the moon in Asgardia, and he can't lift the thing anymore. He's mad and disappointed and pissy. Pissy.
He's a very pouty god.
And he and Freya argue about leadership. Odin does?
Yep.
Yeah. Because she's like, I was in charge. I don't know why I can't be in charge now, you asshole.
Well, that's the thing. It's one thing if, like, you know...
We're not a monarchy anymore, motherfucker.
If Odin shows up and he's like, make great decisions and, you know, kick an elf and giant ass, and you're like, oh, well, back. Yeah, Odin kicking, taking names. Yeah. But he shows up and he's like that asshole uncle that you hope you won't see on a holiday. He's like, I'm bigger than you, da da da. I'm in charge, ha ha ha. Multiple beers, la 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 la. Oh, I knocked over the couch. You know what? And so she's just sitting there like, we have a perfect society, and you're an asshat.
So why would we want you here, man? Come on, Jesus Christ. Now, Thor runs off because he needs to fight, or he needs to drink more. It doesn't really matter.
Thor needs to take his aggression out on something.
So he goes and gets Yarnbjorn again. If we remember, the axe he used before he got Mjolnir. And he goes and meets Mjolnir.
Malekith.
How are you?
Malekith.
Meets Malekith.
I love that
Not
Malekith
even
has become a
drinking.
major DC Marvel character again. Like,
Yeah, he hasn't been around for so fucking long.
I mean, he was such a creepy little character in the Simpson run, but nobody really... I mean, they used him here or there sporadically, but he's really become a major dick player.
You know, it's nice to have a real villain instead of just...
Well, that's one thing that Marvel's been doing so well lately, is moving guys up the roster, so to speak. Like, Dr. Octopus becoming, like, the pinnacle. Bendis started it with, sadly, Norman Osborn and the Red Hood.
Yeah.
And made them, like,
the Hood.
non-stop.
There's too many people with similar
Oh, good point.
names now.
But, you know, then he only used them forever, but...
Yeah, he wouldn't let go of the fucking Hood, would he?
But,
Totally
like,
nuts.
yeah, I'd like to see Doom come back. You know, I'd like to see some of the other major villains make a play. Like, they've been using the Red Skull more and more, but these bigger villains. But yeah, like, moving guys up into the top ranks is always welcome. And let's face it, Malekith is just an evil rat bastard of a character.
He really is. Now, at the end of it all, finally, some unidentified female, and I'm looking at it, well, they might want it to be Freya, they might not want it to be Freya. I don't think it's Freya, because things in the thought bubbles later on in the second issue
suggest otherwise.
Yeah. And unless the transformation also changes her hair color, it's definitely not Sif.
It
So,
seems unlikely.
It could be... No, she's dead.
Who?
That one girl that was dating the guy from Broxton.
Oh, yeah. No, she is dead.
She's dead, so that's not her. So it's hopefully it is a brand spanking new character. and they don't waste a whole lot of time on the whole mystery thing. Because that'd be just like, oh, what do you... tell me who it is!
It's Beta Ray Bill's sister. Beta Ray Bell.
I have nothing to work with when you say things like Beta Ray Bell. I don't.
What?
I got nowhere to go with
What?
that.
It makes sense. I mean, who's the only
Well,
other...
the name makes sense when put
Compared
up
to-
against Beta Ray Bill.
But who's the only other person who's ever been able to lift the hammer?
Well, Cap did.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, forgot about that, didn't you?
I did.
And I think even Spidey might have at one point.
I don't remember that one, but
I'm not certain. I'm not gonna
Either way.
say that it's definite. But there's very few. But it has been done. So yeah, that I think this is semi-promising. I mean, it's not blowing my doors off on the first issue, but it is good read. It is a good read.
You have the Malekith may have cut off Thor's arm, so there's some interest there as to what's going on. The art style is very Mike Kaluta-esque, which suits like the Asgardians well.
Sure.
I love Jason Aaron on Thor. I just don't think that we need to be replacing superheroes with other superheroes that aren't going to last. Like, this had better be one really good storyline for me to give a rat's ass about it. Because I just got over freaking dealing with Dr. Spidey Puss. I can't believe I didn't use that one once while that was happening.
Well, you know, some things occur to you and some things don't. You know, on the ride home, I'll think of like 60 funny fucking things that I should have said, and it's not going to work. At any rate, what else didn't work
What do you got?
was Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier of In Space! I'm sorry. I cannot handle the Winter Soldier, an espionage guy, an assassin, a down-to-earth, personal bloodletting kind of guy. The most he ever did was a sniper from a far distance. You know, he's not necessarily a protector. Even when he was, you know, Cap, you know, he still carried a gun. But he was on Earth. He showed no fucking interest in running around the universe protecting the planet.
I mean, character-wise, if you take out the ridiculously stupid idea of let's send the Winter Soldier into space, if you remove that, the idea that he's trying to make up for his previous misdeeds by protecting the planet, fine. All right. Logically, sure. Like, you know, should it be the U.S.? Okay, maybe. But he's off. He's like, oh, we're gonna stop threats before they happen. That character art, if you did that on Earth, you wouldn't have a problem with that at all. Like, I'm going after the bad guys first. That fits his character. It fits his style. It's logical.
Right.
Him bringing Daisy Johnson Quake with him.
Sure.
Nobody's using her.
Daisy's a good character. There's no reason not to include her.
You know what? She's half psychotic, so she fits into his wheelhouse.
So I don't remember that part. I just reread all of Secret Warriors. I don't remember Daisy being semi-psychotic.
Dude, she's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent with superpowers who, don't you remember when they recruited her? They're like, I want to be an Avenger, you know, and they're like, no, absolutely not. Yeah, no.
Whatever.
That's
Yeah,
a yes,
so
I
he
kind of
teams
remember.
up with Namor to then destroy an underwater train? This thing was such a fucking acid trip of a book. It was so far over so many different weird concepts that I was just like, I can't handle this motherfucker.
No, I mean, you take the original Winter Soldier book, which was a good read. Then you followed it with the Bitter Winter, or what was the name of it?
Oh, the long... Oh, yeah, what was it called? The long something.
Halloween? No.
No.
Anyway, but then you had the miniseries, which was great, and introduced the Iron Nail, which they proceeded to do nothing with, but hey. You know, you had some really nice concepts that have been running in the Winter Soldier, so I was very much looking forward to the next step. And they're like, no, we just stepped in cow dung. I don't want the Winter Soldier in space. I don't like it. I don't find it remotely interesting. I don't want to know how he got out there. Like, we already have a space protection agency in Sword and Abigail Brand that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Why would we throw a...
Yeah, they already had a failed book about that.
Like, I don't see this being a concept that has legs.
Not really.
Now, do you have more of these coming, or is this a one and...
Just a couple. Now that I've read it, I'm not going to be ordering it this month.
So you're not even going for the full 6?
I don't care. It's too off. It's too far removed from... I mean, if they want to give... He's an espionage agent. He's an assassin. He should have been doing what Black Widow should have been doing. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to send Iron Man into space. That fit his character. It does not seem to make sense. And maybe we're wrong. Maybe it'll pick up nicely and we'll get the second and third one and be like, shit, we need to go to the shop and get the rest of them. But as of right now, I find that highly unlikely.
Uh-huh. Yep, so that one's out.
Which is disappointing because it's a book I liked.
Latour had a good time with it. And was it Latour, the second one in the miniseries? Was that Latour as well?
I don't remember.
Yeah, who the hell knows?
No, I don't think so. It might have been Remender.
Yeah, probably. But it's bleh. It's not particularly well executed for the supposed high concept it wants to be. You know, so whatever. So, bring me back to a book I do like.
What do you got?
Miss Marvel 9. I am so glad that this thing has reached 9 issues and has shown no signs of stopping. Everybody still loves it.
It has a very solid fan
It's
base,
so
apparently.
much fun, man. Now, in the last issue, there was an assault on Kamala's school. And she, of course, went to fight it. But in the middle of the fight, it was like, where's my powers? I don't know what's happening. Meh. So in this one, she has to have Lockjaw distract the crowd while she fights a robot trying to get her powers back.
You know, you gotta like a book that breaks out a giant robot. Like,
Yeah!
like, just so happy with that.
Now, since she's an Inhuman who has had her Inhuman chromosome activated by the Terrigen Mists, Medusa shows up and says, you know what? You don't need to be here. I'm taking you to Atalan. Or Atalan, or however the fuck it's pronounced. I'm telling you, man. Pronunciation guide.
Least popular item ever.
Yeah, well, she finally hears about her own origin, so to speak. You know, she knew something happened. She had no idea why. Now Medusa's giving her the lowdown on that shit.
Well, then she thought she was a mutant, and Wolverine's like, yeah, no. No.
Lockjaw takes her back to Jersey after that, where she launches an assault on the inventor's house, and we find that the kids being harvested are actually volunteers.
Hey, what the hell was that?
Which is going to be weird, because how do you explain that?
No, I love this book. I like the small things. I love the frantic mom and the dad being like, "Well, you're here, and we have to vacuum." And slowly grow the dog's growing on him. Like like the small character moments in everybody in this book are well done.
Yeah.
So like she nails tiny details really well, and the whole powers flaw thing. Like when she's healing, she shrinks back to normal size, and eventually, the more she injures herself and heals, the harder it will be to change shape. So I love when thought process goes into powers. You know, it is sadly far more common. Like, oh, I'm super strong, and I have no difficulty with that. You know, I can run incredibly fast, and I never chafe. Like, no, you know.
And I never chafe. Well, you know, I'm sure some of those suits are built to prevent that. You know, I'm sure there's like extra padding in the thigh.
But my point is,
like bicyclists have.
I can turn into pure light and not set my hair on fire. Like, no, like, you know. And my clothes come with me. No, what? No, that seems unlikely. But yeah, so I love the thought process that goes in when people really work these things out.
And it's entertaining as well.
Yeah, it's a great book. It's such a light touch and an even hand. Who writes this again?
G. Willow Wilson.
I don't know where the hell she came from. I don't even know for sure that she's a she. I'm using the word Willow to kind of guide me there. Okay.
Yes, she is. She
But it is a great book and a high recommendation.
Which brings us to an even higher point. Or at least equal to it, right? I would
What do you
think.
got? I don't know. I don't know what's next.
Well, what's next is Silver Surfer. Yeah.
Dude, I am a fucking genius.
You are?
Yeah.
Specifically?
Dude, the last issue, or last episode that we did Marvels, I made the point that, Silver Surfer didn't really think through bringing an Earth Girl with him, and that he was going to have to feed her and find bathrooms. And I even had a whole bit about crapping on Ego the Living Planet, if you remember.
I remember that.
And this whole issue
Is about all of that stuff. It amused me, and he's how insanely frustrated he gets at her.
it's like taking a small child on a car ride.
It totally is. It's like, didn't we just stop?
I'm
that
human.
was number one.
I have to eat and 3 times a day. What?
That much? Are you kidding? But it amused me when he took out her tonsils.
That was
And
uncalled for.
She wasn't mad about having parts of her body removed.
Oh, she was.
She was irritated, but she was more mad about not getting the ice cream that comes with tonsillectomy.
See, I love that. I read it a little differently. I think that she was so upset that he violated her and removed a part of her body by wiggling his fingers. That she just, the ice cream was like, you gotta fix it. Get me ice cream. I have to have the normal thing. And now I'm obsessed with the normal idea because what you did was just too fucking surreal to even think about. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just imagine that feeling of your own tonsils rolling up and out of your mouth. No.
Would it really be weirder than going under?
Yes.
Really?
Dude, imagine the feeling of them removing themselves.
I've been under general anesthetic. I've had things removed from me during the kidney stones. Remember?
Oh, they cut those out of you.
No, they zapped it with fucking high sonics.
But you didn't actually feel them rolling down.
No, but it was like, I'm falling, clunk. And then the next thing you know, hours and hours later, and God knows who's done what to you, I would personally be happier with the wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
No, you know what? No. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. If I were just standing around minding my own business and suddenly a part of my body got removed and climbed its way out of myself, that's some Clive Barker shit.
Well, imagine if you just normally went to sleep. You were asleep.
Yeah.
And somebody shaved your ass bald, and you didn't wake up to know it.
I drank in college. I've come pretty close to that,
You didn't
anyway.
like that either, did you?
No, not at all. But
just because you're asleep doesn't mean things were good.
it wouldn't. Yeah, fair enough. Well, no, everything is always good when I'm asleep. Waking up could suck, but the intrusion factor is different. But no, I see your point. Either way, we're the worst tangent we could have possibly got caught up on.
Right. Then, as a result of all this, they go to the ice cream planet.
Planet Prime.
Which is great. There's a fucking planet dedicated to ice cream.
No, it isn't.
I think it is.
No, not at all.
I think it is. Just
Every-
roll with the shit.
Everyone on the planet is the best in the world at what they do. Therefore, the guy who makes ice cream
is the best one. So it's Ice Cream Planet. Anyhow, he creates all this weird gold to pay for it and starts effectively ruining their economy because there's now precious substances that just wasn't on the planet anymore.
This in no way affects the economy, but when you're the world's greatest banker, you sense it differently.
At that scale, no. And you're right. She would see where that was going to go if they hung around long enough.
Banker 1 just happened to be having some tasty, snacky ice cream.
Now, somehow, the perception of a future crime is enough to call in the military that consists entirely of Warrior 1, whose ass he summarily kicks.
Well, not at all. Warrior 1 beats the piss out of Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I had that phrasing bad. That's
Oh,
what I
yeah.
meant.
Okay, yes. No, he went nuts. It was like watching Captain America, just slightly to the left. I did the smack talking I've heard of worlds where warriors plan to die in battle. A good warrior dies in bed because he beats everybody. And it's like, whoa, dude, wow. Like, just wow.
Well, that you gotta admit that's a tad less nihilistic.
No, I thought that this issue, like, Silver Surfer's been such a pleasant surprise. The light humor touch and the bigger like, Dan Slott is just really killing it, and Aldred's art is perfect for it.
It really is.
And then the best is when they switch badges, and so he's no longer Warrior 1, so now he's Warrior 0, and he declares them both enemies. She's like, I have an enemy? It's going to happen. We're in space. No, it was such a good, fun read.
Too fun. A lot of fun. I so need this kind of book around, especially when you got things like fucking Caliban in the pile.
Yep.
And fucking Revival in the pile. And I'm not meaning that Revival's not quality. It's high quality.
It's a great book, but
It's fucking heavy.
light tones are appreciated. And Silver Surfer and Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel and Atomic Robot, like, things like that really have an effect.
They do. Now back to the heavy. Because that's what we all want, right? The dark, fucking dark, man.
Heavy duty, heavy duty, rock and roll.
And the original heavy-duty rock and roll book in this joint, Uncanny 27, is where we're going with this. The Omega Mutant is pretty much just practicing his power, just rearranging the environment, going, oh, I can do that, huh? Oh, that rock looks like a fucking blonde now, huh?
I think we know what you do with said power.
Well, whatever. Rachel tries to mentally pose as Charles, but, I mean, he's had Charles in his head before, and she's no fucking Charles, so of course it fails.
Well, it started to work. The problem is that he's come to a different realization. He's decided, like, if I have these powers, there must be a reason for me to have these powers. So I shouldn't get rid of them as easily as you have made me do in the past, Charles. So it's not so much that he recognizes that she's not Charles at first, as that he distrusts the original plan.
Nah.
And then once he starts looking into deeper, things fall very much apart.
So, and they fall apart, most importantly, by the fucking helicarrier crashing. How many of these things have they got, man? They destroyed like 18 of them in Secret Warriors.
I love a good helicarrier, but yeah, and this was an epic looking crap. You're like, okay, that looks like...
This was a Juggernaut class helicarrier. They
That
can't
thing's-
have too many of them fuckers running around.
That thing smacked into the ground something fierce.
That may have been Maria's flagship, for fuck's sake. Who knows? He sends almost everyone home, but Scott has a plan, and he wants to make the kid an ally by taking him to breakfast.
Well, Scott Summers relates to people who have killed people accidentally.
Well, a nice fluffy stack of pancakes might turn that guy into a fucking hero. You don't know.
It's all about the pancake.
Really, Scott?
No waffle.
Breakfast? Well, maybe coffee. You want a latte? Go
Dude,
fuck yourself,
you should
Scott.
not give that guy gets decaf.
Now, in All New 33, All New is probably going to start grating on me soon. When they start pulling out the old let's scatter everybody to different places routine.
Are they all in different
It's-
places, or are they all in the Ultimate Universe?
I think that this issue made it more clear that they're all in the Ultimate
Yeah,
Universe.
that was my take, but it didn't feel that way last time.
No, it really didn't last time. What's his face? Poor Hank is still hanging out with Doom, and that just amuses the shit out of me.
Oh, I loved when he does this huge breakout, and then he ends up sitting at the table, and Doom's still sitting there like, so, what were you saying? You were going to tell me everything.
Now, Miles takes Jean to his pal to borrow a car, and they have this cute little tete-a-tete there about, oh, you're a pervert? I wasn't thinking that. Yes, you were. Yes, I was.
You know what?
Can I do it anyway?
If you're psychic and you're going to look like that and wear skin tight, like, it's unfair. It's just not fair.
Well, it wouldn't be a factor if she wasn't fucking poking around people's heads without permission all the time.
Well, do you think Emma Frost doesn't do the same? Like, you know, like it's
Emma
a litmus
Frost was
test that everyone fails.
Emma, well, yeah. So why bother?
Yeah.
Emma's a villain anyway. She's gonna. I don't care what she says now. One day they're gonna make her a fucking villain again. And I'm gonna buy the new Hellfire Club fucking comic book.
The Hellions.
I need to reread some fucking New Mutants so I can get my fix of Hellcat. Who were those assholes, man? Do you
The
remember
Hellions?
any of their names?
There was.
There was that purple-haired cat chick.
Oh God, what was? Magma went over there,
Yeah, for a while.
and then there was. God, no, I don't. Bull?
Nobody remembers.
Warpath. Thunderbird's brother started over there.
It's so bad.
Yeah, no, awful. The Hellions.
Bobby develops his powers to escape the Mole Man, which again amused me.
Ice Hulks. Dude, I love that he's getting his ass whipped by basically mole frogs.
Yes, that's amusing. That's funny shit.
No, so now you said at the beginning of this that you were thinking of dropping the book soon, or it was going to start to grade.
Yeah, because I think they need to, one, not spend a lot of time on them being a part in this milieu. If they want to have somebody have an individual adventure, give them an individual issue. Get their adventure over with, move on to a greater
So you want
plot.
to see the five of them together more than you've seen.
Sure. If they do have to break down and say, well, this is how we're going to develop Hank as he stands in this era, then give him his own full story.
Right.
And along with all the other characters. They want Jean to develop more, great. Let her hang out with Miles for an entire issue and get some good character development going.
Well, I didn't
He
feel
can pack in a lot of shit in one issue.
He's very good at that, and he juggles well. But no, I see what you're saying. I mean, this is not abnormal, but it's happened so much. The problem is like they're so wrapped into all the event books. It's like you can't read these and have a clear understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, it's difficult at best.
If you were to go back and buy, and I love Bendis, but why would I buy a graphic of these? Because I'm not going to understand without buying 6 others. Like I have to buy Axis, and I have to buy Thunder Point, and I have to buy Poop Brigand. You know, like
What? Poop Brigand?
Who knows, dude? There's an event about everything.
Fucking crazy talk. They didn't even finish fucking Original Sin before they started on Axis,
Yep.
which drove me nuts. I'm like, is one coming out of the other, or they just happen?
No, that's Poop Brigand.
Oh, ew. I see. Disgustipating. Yeah, so they go to Westchester eventually. Miles and Jean finally get to Westchester. And it turns out that they're not welcome because nobody understands who they are because they're not from that fucking dimension. It was not what she was expecting.
It was very, but it's a good storyline. I enjoy the book. I like the characters, but yeah, it needs to be itself for a while and not be a side book to all these giant event things.
Right.
But every comic needs that at this point.
Yeah. No. The unfortunately being canceled She-Hulk 9. I know
And again,
you're-
I'm a genius.
How are you a genius?
Because last time during Marvel,
Yeah.
I talked about how Daredevil would never take this case. And in this, it's revealed that Daredevil's like, I would never take this case.
Oh boy, you know a character you've read for 30 fucking years. Imagine that.
All right, fine. Genius is pushing a little, but I so rarely get these moments. Like, you know, you have to admit, you're like, shit, yeah, I'm going to have to listen to the Rev fucking talk about this when you were reading it.
I never think things like that. I do not think of you when I'm reading my comics. Unless, of course, it's something that screams, this is the Rev.
No, you've. I know for a fact that you have thought, and I can't believe this is the tangent that we've chosen to go off on. I know for a fact that you've thought, "Oh, Rev's gonna hate this."
Oh yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah. Oh, like, ooh, I can't wait till he gets to this.
There are entire books I've said I'm not giving this to the Rev.
And yet, Multiversity made it into my house.
You know, I had to take a chance. I couldn't be sure.
You know, he just wanted me to rant.
I could totally be sure. But so there's the opening statements, which reveal the story of the death of a brother of a friend of Steve, which sounds more complicated than it is. Steve had a friend. The friend's brother died. Steve is kind of sort of responsible for it, depending on the perspective.
It looks like there was union agitation in the 30s, and Steve wouldn't shut up. Now, this suits, like, I don't have a problem seeing Steve Rogers not bending before authority, but with a gun to somebody's head, it's hard to envision.
It's difficult at best. I mean, he might have... then again, he was so young, and you have even more idealistic fire and less of an idea of consequences.
Yeah, you have to learn. Yeah, fair enough.
Far less an idea of consequences when you're only 20,
right? As
opposed to, oh, I've been through a war and now I've been superheroing for 30 years. And
a person's life is worth more than an ideal in certain circumstances. An ideal is worth more than a person. So he has a different viewpoint. I'll give you that. But I love the fact that he made Daredevil like, you have to go after me as hard as you can, and I need to. And then She-Hulk, you have to prove me innocent. Like, it can't be like, people have to know that I'm innocent. The case has to be as challenging as possible, and I have to be cleared.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's bang on.
That's Cap.
Exactly what you do.
So love this. Also felt this was the best issue so far in showing legal thing. Like you doing things in court, like as you said, Sewell, writes this, and he is a lawyer,
right? So,
like when they're interviewing witnesses and turning things against each other and whatnot, and there was just enough of it for me not to completely loathe it, which is usually how lawyerly things type go.
I'll let Carboni know that.
No, like, John Grisham movies are not my idea of a good time. I do not watch L.A. Law. Like, lawyer trickery does not amuse me.
Not a Perry Mason fan?
No.
My mom adores Perry Mason.
No, never read one.
But you know what I dig the most about this entire issue?
What's that?
Is the very last panel. Everything the guy said was true. Come on!
Jen does not like to lose at anything, and
I liked it so much. I got a snap of that I put in tweets when somebody says something particularly ludicrous.
No, it's a great. Now, when's the last issue?
12.
12. So my one caveat on that book is you need to explain the friggin' chick and her monkey before you end this book.
Oh, God, I hope they will.
Because that's annoying, and like if I have to go forever without having a resolution to the stupid freaking suit-wearing, tap-dancing monkey.
What? Now, see, that's the thing that's got me confused about you personally right now, right this second.
What do you got?
Why would you personally, ever need an explanation for a tap-dancing, suit-wearing monkey?
Normally I wouldn't, but in this scenario, there's if you live in a world where sometimes monkeys wear suits and tap dance, I'm fine with that. When you have just a totally helper monkey that just does it inexplicably, because you've already resolved that she has some sort of weird power in the monkeys involved, so that's where it comes from. It's like, well, why is he wearing a suit? Like, what the hell? It's the confusion over the suit. No, like, if it was just a random tap dancing monkey that lived in their apartment building,
a random
Mr. Bojingles, no, that's fine. See, I changed the A to an I to make it, a monkey.
What?
Mr. Bojangles is a very famous dancer.
Yeah, what's that got to do with monkeys?
So I changed it to
Why does it matter?
Jingles. It's different. Different.
You are different.
That's true.
You are way fucking different.
That's also true. And mean.
Fucking loser. Huh. So, Amazing Spider-Man 7 and 8.
Heartless.
Fun and confusing by turns. Because they got this whole fucking
Edge of Spider-Verse
thing going on there. So before the Spider-Verse thing, there's Silk and Pete being fucking animals to each other, and Anna Maria just calming them down with a fucking spritzer bottle.
That was awesome.
This made me laugh so fucking hard.
That was great.
Silk can't deal with it, so she's like, "Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't be doing this shit. I'm gonna take off and go have an adventure." Someone dressed as classic Miss Marvel is assaulting cops.
Some sort of Kree super freak thing.
Some sort of Kree super freak. Now, Kamala heads over to New York to intervene. I can't remember why she specifically needs... Oh, because she's mad about the Miss Marvel impersonation.
Yeah.
That's right. I knew I remembered that shit. So, Silk shows up, Kamala shows up. Spider-Man has to team up because it's his town. He knows Silk. And it took way too many issues for him to show up. Usually, the Spider-Man team up is issue 3. Isn't that the tradition?
Nope.
Am I wrong?
No, Spider-Man, I love this. Like, everything was done so well. Her glee was hysterical.
Her glee, oh my god, I'm in a Spider-Man team up.
And then when it goes bad, and she's like, is this how it usually goes? Yeah, kind of. Like, just a great dynamic between the two of them. And then in the second one, we'll do the way I think we should look at this is to visit the main story and then jump back to the...
weird Spider-Verse thing?
Exactly. So in the second one, it turns out that Pete, the Kree thing becomes weirdly superpowered. What was her name? It was horrible.
I totally don't remember.
Ms. Mysteria or something?
Yeah, I blew by it because it was that dumb.
Professor Chaos or just something ridiculously poor. Maximilians, or, like, I don't know.
It wasn't Maximilians. Doof.
Tiny Toons was awesome.
They totally do a fucking Captain Marvel slingshot maneuver, waiting desperately for a fastball special.
Oh, dude, that was great. She's like, now let's do a fastball special. No, let's do something that'll actually win. Like,
Silk is like, yeah, maybe I am a tad indiscreet with this costume. I should get a real costume. I should figure out what a costume for someone like me should actually be.
They're doing some interesting things with Silk. Like, I love the moment when she's like, okay, I've been gone a long time because rent's insane. And then she finds out the newspaper is like, oh, let's make Silk our Spider-Man. Like, that'll be our major hero. Too bad she dresses like an idiot. Oh.
Idiot, huh?
Yeah, that's...
let's fix that.
Right, apparently, walking around in half a cocoon of webs is not attractive. Note to... So, like, Silk is just not a developed person.
Not just
but
yet.
she's an interesting character, so it's well done there, too.
Well, and at least they're not jumping right into, you know... Well, she's not in the bunker anymore, so now she has to be a full person. They're giving her time to develop that stuff.
And it's not, like, bad... It's not like, ooh, this is a chili dog.
Yeah, she knew what a chili dog was.
Exactly.
She was around before the bunker.
But my point, like, so often you get that, like, oh, you haven't had tofu, you know.
Yeah.
Froyo is everywhere. Like, no, it's like, oh, rent's really bad. Like, money, yes, logical decisions.
So, somewhere along the line, one of the henchmen that the fake Miss Marvel is using turns out to be Discount Humbug Jr.
Yeah, I was like, why?
Well, also, why not?
Well, I guess they've been building that whole storyline to make him an employee.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they brought him around. It's one thing to close a story on a character. It's another to bring him in and then wander off.
Right. So at least they're doing something with him.
Yeah. So I didn't have a big problem with that. Spidey does a little mentoring thing, which amused me, and you know he's got a good take on how Kamala is too.
Yep.
So that was pretty nice. The way that he finally resolves it was like, all right, you know what? We don't really have to punch our way out of this one. I've got something that might work. And he pretends to call the Avengers to get a hold of the fucking Supreme Intelligence and say, one of your doofuses is down here on our planet causing fucking trouble.
Was it pretend? Like, because They could have just as easily, the Kree being the Kree, they could have just fired it out on a satellite, and if they heard that, they go, okay. Either way, like, this woman is fucked.
Well, let me double check.
But it's even more clever if he just faked her out, in all honesty.
Yeah, that's how I took it. Where is it? Oh, yeah, right it is. Shh, wait till she's out of earshot. Oh, you didn't?
That's it. Okay, I missed that. No, that makes it even better.
It does. Because that's quick thinking, Spidey.
Yep.
That's not, let's just punch it till it stops, Spidey.
Well, Anna Marie is being very good for Spidey and thinking differently about how to do things.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And that's all I really care about, because that Spider-Verse story stuff, I don't care.
Well, I thought they did them well. Like, they're introducing Moreland's children being horrible vampire things. And the Spider Cat was pretty amusing. I really liked what they did in the second one with Spider-Girl and bringing that storyline into it.
Yeah,
like, it's well done and everything, but I'm not reading the Spider-Verse. I don't care. I don't want 4,000 Spider-Mans together.
No.
It's like our version of Multiversity. Ours, because like Marvel is my home team, I guess. Dude, there's a T-shirt.
Marvel's my home team.
And DC is my home team. Those you could sell and get sued for.
If I had any kind of design sense, I would try that. But I'm just going to make a graphic that's like, really, fellas? Because I'm so bad at that shit. What was I going to say? You totally lost me.
Oh, so I was talking about Mayday and the Spider-Girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care about the Spider-Verse thing either.
Well, I saw an ad in the back for Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. She gets her own book now.
No bueno. And yeah, Spider-Captain Britain. Like, I'm like,
It's just their responses to, the 20,000 different variations. It's like they want. It's like they're looking at action figures before they're looking at characters,
Right.
And the whole spice of the action figure life is, oh, he's in this costume now, so that's a whole new action figure.
Yeah, it's just cheap, quick variations.
And I don't find that very fucking creative at all.
No, but I will say I thought
because all you got to say is his main color's red this time.
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit! Where's he from? Well, he's communist. I mean, suddenly you got a new character.
There's enough Spider-Man variations out there anyway that it's not necessary. But they're doing. I thought both shorts were fairly well written, particularly the second one. But I don't care.
The second one was better, but you're right. I didn't care. Only got a couple of things left, man. Let's power through this shit. Right?
Yep.
So, Black Widow 11. Oops. It's cold down here. In Macau. Well, nobody knows why they're in Macau, but they needed a casino, so...
Well, my horse was taken. Ah,
oh my god. Lean over here so I can fucking slap you. That'll be an excerpt. In Macau, Nat and X-23, who just kind of shows up, no explanation of how they even know each other, because it's not like X-23 was a fucking Avenger or nothing.
No, it's not like she's
it's
hanging
not like,
out with Angel in another book.
Yeah,
like,
they haven't
I
established
hate things like that.
They haven't established why Nat even knows her.
Well,
why
Logan sent her.
What?
Logan sent her.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Logan.
Oh, so they did
recommended
explain
her.
it. I totally missed that.
Look, because you didn't care. And that's the problem with this book is you're like, God, do something interesting. Like there's this huge fight scene that I don't care about. There's more political dealings. They save her attorney, who appears to have been a secret agent or something at his own point.
Right.
And they, the guy that the big villain just falls in a pool. I'm like, what? It was so anticlimactic and nothing was resolved because it's obviously not the end of anything.
No, not this issue.
It is. It takes a step forward here and there, and it takes like 7 back. I just don't care. Now, is this on the cusp, or is this...
It really is. If something doesn't change soon, I got to get rid of
I mean, I'm
this
not
thing.
pushing you to get rid of anything because I keep thinking like there's a point, but I don't ever look forward to this
Well,
book.
it's 11 issues, and they haven't gotten to a point. You know?
No,
So they need to get to a point.
that would be nice.
Because, as Burgess Meredith says, it's mediocre. I mean, this wasn't too bad. I mean, they literally turned X-23 into a bullet sponge for this. Which, is what the super fast healing people have always been. But now they're just like, fuck it. Let's fulfill her duty as a bullet sponge.
No, it was a dark plan that they put into effect.
And I'm sure it hurt her, but she healed, so fuck it. People are forgetting that this kid is only 17, too.
Yeah, that doesn't seem overly heroic.
No, not really. Yeah, she heals fast, so let her get hurt all the time. Really, Nat? That's your adult, I want to be redeemed viewpoint? That's not helping her either.
No,
if the whole point of this is I'm going to pay my debt, which, the unidentified debts, I did a lot of bad things in the past. Really? Because I read those Iron Mans, and you were just kind of flirty and secret spy camera-y. You didn't really fucking do all that much that was all that bad.
Well, this is the revamped super assassin.
Yeah, except we never seen her do much of that assassin stuff
It's all
outside of
flashbacks.
this book. Which means they're establishing it now, which means we're getting retroactive reasons for her to be depressed. Which is just like... maybe they could revisit a couple of stories, but...
Back in the bad old days when I was interesting.
Twist it just a little bit. Not really fuck with continuity, but go back to a story she was in, tell it from a different perspective that would make her look more guilty than she was when you originally read the story.
Yeah.
See, this is the kind of shit they got to talk about in these writer summits. There's a writer summit going on right now with those guys.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And apparently they spent about 12 hours in stunned, awkward silence because Kelly Sue DeConnick actually showed up. She was the only female writer at the summit.
Wow.
Oops. Try again, fellas.
Awkward.
Might want to revamp that. 2 things left.
What?
Are you good?
Yeah, good.
You good? So there's the final of this volume pi of Captain America, number 25, with a quick recap of Sam's death. Jet Black and Zola argue, and of course it turns out badly for the good guys because everything looks the wrong way. So Jet takes off, says, "Oh, you're all liars. I don't know what I'm going to do." Blah, 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 blah. Aged Sharon and aged Steve unite. Sam, of course, is not dead. Sharon accuses Jet of orchestrating the whole goddamn thing. And a week later, Steve has a party and says, "Oh yeah,
I'm General Geriatric."
that amused me." "Oh yeah, here comes Sam. He's Cap now." Like you didn't fucking know. And then, of course, we open up a new Hydra plot because we can't have
including a
non-Hydra.
hero. Somebody at the Avengers meeting there was in the same room.
Yeah, which is what happens with Hydra. They're all very hardcore infiltrate-y guys. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who it is, though. I always enjoy those moments. No, it's a fun, light issue. They did do a good job of making Sam heroic.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I mean,
that-
they always do because it's not difficult.
No,
Sam's
he's a
Sam's
good
a
character.
hero.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But they did build him up nicely, so that was pretty solid.
Yes.
On the other hand, however, they just Cap's been Cap for 24 issues. Like,
It seems off. He has one big adventure. There's the fallout from that adventure, and then it's not his book anymore.
do we think that Sharon is the villain?
No. Really? You think? Maybe?
I don't know. I mean, she immediately went up against Jet Black, so
Yeah, she did.
And,
That would be a
it just happened to be hanging out.
Yeah, that would be a smart move because she's incredibly powerful, and she was up until these pages quite optimistic and idealistic about being with Cap and following Cap's ideals, etc. And she was the one that was like, "Oh, you put this all together, huh?"
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can see where you're getting that theory.
Then also, she's there to make sure Cap stays whole and all those kind of things. Yeah, so there's definitely, I mean, that's my first thought. But no, I enjoyed everything about it. I will, I assume you're going with the Captain Falcon?
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading it. However, it had better be very good. Like, I don't, like, we're treading ground again. And I know that some people think this is meaningful because it's a black Captain America. To me, that's not meaningful. Cap having a black partner in the 60s was meaningful. Making a black hero, African-American hero. God. Even when I'm trying to be nice, I sound stupid. I love that. That's so helpful. But having an African-American hero who on his own gets to that level is a big deal.
Yeah. There's no reason he couldn't have had his own book.
Right. Temporary replacements are not meaningful.
No, because everything just resets. And where does Sam get? Unless Sam gets his own book after this,
that's good and like you have to stay up. It's like Captain Marvel. Like you can't force somebody up into the upper echelon. You got to work your way up there, and then you got to stay.
yeah,
Like we've talked about this before. In the 70s, Ben Grimm, Conan, Doctor Strange, Howard the Duck, Dracula. These were major players in Marvel books. And they're not now. Doctor Strange was an enormous success. Like that book, that dude was everywhere. That book was well read. There were a lot of them.
right.
He doesn't even have a book right now.
No, which is pretty weird.
Because it doesn't sell. The last few have been awful.
And the onslaught of new Doctor Strange stories that's going to come as soon as that
Movie hits, yeah.
that's going to be weird, actually. It's going to be interesting getting used to him again.
But
because now, how are they going to deal with? Wow, we've only got one book left, so why not?
Yeah.
How are they going to deal with him being the creepy professor molester guy?
I think they'll totally lose that. I mean, I never understood that anyway. Like the whole Defenders, like
Yeah, that was a bit of an aberration, but we remember it, so other people are going to remember it.
well, nobody ever cares about what people remember. Is what they want to do now.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's like the Winter Soldier thing. Like they're going when this space adventure fails miserably, as I suspect it will. They'll revamp it just like they did when they tried to turn the Punisher into the Avenging Angel, like the undead Punisher, working his way to heaven.
Ugh, so bad. Dude, she ain't going anywhere. That thing is right in her spine. Don't even try. I mean, it's smack in the middle of her back. She's not walking.
But yeah, no, I do look forward to reading the next, take of this. But I feel like again, within 2 years, Cap is going to be Cap again,
right.
And the question is, will the Falcon be a player at that point?
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping he was. He's always been an excellent character. So I like to keep excellent characters around and keep the annoying ones away. Let's finish up with Captain Marvel 8. Now, we left off, and things were getting fucking crazy. In this issue, Carol and Rocket are trying to get Teak and the Flerken babies,
all 117 of them,
with their weird little inside-out, teethy, tentacly
Lovecraftian. Flerkens are horrible.
Out of the ship to avoid the Flerken hunters.
Now, the thing that this book doesn't address, and it's a tiny thing, and I really liked the book. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I loved the way they wrote Rocket. Is why does everyone hate the Flerken? Because they seem to be giant, malevolent, friggin' Lovecraftian things trapped in tiny kitties. Like, maybe there's a reason. And they don't go, she doesn't go anywhere near that. Like, Rocket's been talking about how horrible the Flerken are forever.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it's my cat.
Yeah, even when she realizes that it's not a cat and it is a Flerken. I mean, this is all happening in like 3 hours.
Right,
The
yeah.
last 4 issues of happening in like 3 hours. So,
but he was
she
talking
hasn't
about
really had time to address the idea.
He was talking about the Flerken thing back when she was in Guardians for that short period too. I think.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Was she? You read more Guardians than I did.
I
so
thought maybe
I
I've extrapolated the two together, which is not impossible. Either way,
I think that's what you did.
it's very possible. I think Captain Marvel was a great read. I really enjoyed. She does need some slightly better villains going for. Like, I want to see some actual like villains and not. Oh, we're a bad race.
No, eventually they'll give her that. I hope. I mean, maybe that's one of the things that's happening in the summit. It's hard to say, but no, it's enjoyable and it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, it's a good read.
So, and yeah, that's the episode.
It is.
Is there anything else that has been bubbling around in your brain that you want to bring up? No, don't think so. I see you rolling your eyes trying to find something bubbling.
No, I'm bubble free.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing to be, especially if it's gas. So, good night, kids.
Bless you, Flerkens!
And away.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. Find us on Facebook, Stitcher, Twitter under @TheMeanerGeek. Subscribe to us through RSS.
Or we can be located at our own site, www.themeangeek.com. And most importantly of all, you can find us as a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network.
Email us directly at TheMeanerGeek@gmail.com.
Can I drink now?
You may.